Hello and welcome to my world of crochet. My name is Stine and today I'm going to teach you how to crochet the Barbara Bolero, which I am wearing in this picture. The yarn I used for this Bolero / cardigan in the picture is the Hobby Carnival yarn in the colorway 5 named Copenhagen. I have linked to the yarn in the description box down below. Please note that the yarn used in this tutorial is a different yarn than the Bolero that I'm wearing, but it helps display how easy it is to adapt this pattern to any yarn of your choosing, regardless of weight and type. If you like the tutorial, do not forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel for more tutorials, and ring the little bell to get notified whenever I post new videos. Let's first talk about the construction of this Bolero. The Bolero contains basically one long tube of one sleeve, two sleeves, and the back piece. These pieces are crocheted from one end to the other, so you start at one end of the sleeve and you keep crocheting until you're at the other end. This means there will be no parts that you will need to join. Therefore, I believe that this crocheted item is very beginner friendly, as if you're looking to make one of your first garments. So, because this crocheted one piece and this pattern does not call for any increases or decreases in the actual pattern, what you must make sure when you decide or find out how big your foundation chain needs to be is you need to measure the largest circumference around the upper arm, because that will be the width of the whole piece of garment from one end to the other. So the size of the sleeve, so to say, the width of the sleeve. I received the measurements and I know that I need to have a 40 centimeters chain, because that's going to be the minimum size for this. So what I'm going to write down is, I'm going to write down here, it's going to be 40 centimeters. So that's the circumference of the upper arm. What I also know is that each sleeve needs to be 50 centimeters. And I was informed that the back piece also needs to be 50 centimeters. Obviously, these sizes and adjustments you can make depending on your actual sizes. So if you have skinnier arms or if you have thicker arms, you can increase or decrease the sleeve size. And of course, if you have long arms or short arms, you can also increase, decrease the length of the sleeve and the length of the back piece. For this tutorial, I'm using the Seaman Super Soft yarn, which is an 80% acrylic combined with a 20% polyamide. This is a light gray color. It has 199 meters on 50 grams, which is like 220 yardish maybe. It can be machine washed at 30 degrees. Do not dry. And here it says it comes with a recommended crochet size of 3. That said, I do not 100% agree with the recommended crochet needle size. In the end, what you need to do is you need to find the gauge that fits you. And as mentioned, this is not the yarn that's used in the original design. But this design is so easy that you can easily make it adapt and fit any yarn of your choosing. So this is the yarn I will be using, and my experience is that with this yarn, with the swatch I tested some time ago, is that a 4mm hook seems to be the perfect choice of hook for me. So to start up, what I need to do is I need to make a slip knot so I can start on my foundation chain. So let's see, we can, oops. So first I will be making the slip knot here. And I'm actually going to zoom in a little so that you can easier see what I'm doing. See if I can do that. Yes, I can. So. And from this, I'm now going to basically single chain for each 8 chains, because this pattern is repeatable by 8 or divided by 8. So you need 8 stitches per repeat. This means that I will need to have any number that can be divided by 8, which makes 40 centimeters. So first I'm going to do 8 single chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I'm basically now with these 8 going to take my tape measure. And with my tape measure, I'm going to measure how many, or the distance of 8 chains, which is about 4 centimeters, because like that's approximately the end. So it's a little bit more than 4 centimeters. So quick math is, if 8 single chains gives me 4 centimeters and I need 40 centimeters, I will probably need 72 or 80 single chains to have the right circumference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain until I have a total of 72 chains. Then I'm going to measure again. And if it's below 40 centimeters, I will add another 8 chains until I reach the 40 centimeters. You can then, if it's not adding up, better have it 41 than, let's say, 38, to make sure that the actual sleeve will fit the end user. So once I've changed a total of 72, I will meet you again. Now I have made 72 chains, and it's time to measure to see if the distance is all right. So here's my measuring tape, and I'm going to measure the chain for its length. So right now this chain is 36, a little bit more than 36 centimeters. We just learned before that each 8 chains is about 4 centimeters. So therefore, it's reasonably safe to assess that my foundation needs to be 80 chains. So I'm gonna change another 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We should now be at 80 in total as our foundation. So let's remeasure again to make sure we have the right length needed for the foundation of this Bolero. So here we go. And we are like at 41, it says down here. So that's okay, because at 72, it's too small. And at 80, it's just a tiny bit too large. But, you know, if you make it too small, you will not be able to fit it, because you will not be able to get your overarm through the final product. Good. So the next step here will be to join the end of the chain with a slip stitch. So to slip stitch it into the end of the foundation chain to join it, I follow the chain and make sure it's all straight. And then I found the end, because then it doesn't twist. And in the last stitch here, or in the first that would be, may not be so easy because this yarn, sorry, has not made it easy for me to slip stitch it in. So we just had to loosen it a little bit. We'll insert my hook at the very first stitch. Oh, of course, now we have the yarn through. So this was better. I will insert the hook in that stitch, and I will basically yarn over and pull through both loops to slip stitch this together. So now we have our foundation joined for the Bolero. To make the first round of the Bolero, we need to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we need to join this with a foundation chain in the 4th chain after the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this stitch, we insert our hook and we make a single crochet. This we repeat by chaining another 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we jump to another 1, 2, 3, and the 4th we insert the hook and make another single chain, or another single crochet, sorry, not single chain, single crochet. This is basically a pattern we will repeat until the whole round is complete. So chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we skip 1, 2. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th we insert the hook and make a single crochet. So I'm going to complete this round in the exact same repeating pattern until I'm back at the beginning, and then I'll meet you again. So now my round is almost complete, and to complete the round for the last 4 chains, I need to slip stitch into the last chain here. Oops. It's not cooperating, so I'm slip stitching into this like that. So what I personally like to do is here, where I have made the slip stitch, I'm going to insert a stitch marker, so I know, we're just going to pull this a bit, I'm going to insert a stitch marker so I know exactly where my round ends and begins. In the beginning, of course, it's a bit easy to see, due to that you have the tail from the starting round, from when you made the foundation. So now, after having completed the first round, we should have 20 of these small arches all the way around, because 80 divided by 4 gives 20. And to complete the next round, we will start by making 3. So to chain 3, so do 3 chains, 1, 2, 3. Then in the first arch here, we will need to make 3 double crochets. So the first 3 chain here also counts as a double crochet, and we will need to make an additional 3. So we are making oops, this yarn is a little bit splitty. 1, 2, and that was 3 double crochets. So now then, to continue, we will have to chain 2, 1, 2, and these 2 chains we fasten in the second ring with a single crochet. So that was a single crochet. Then to continue in the next, we do another chain 2, 1, 2, and in the third here, we will have to do 4 double crochets. So this is 1 double crochet, and we just make the double crochets in the arch, so not in the actual stitches, but in this chain 4 we made in the previous round. So you don't need to look for the actual stitches, you just need to make the double crochets in that actual arc. So that's quite nice and easy. So now you have the 4 double. And this is actually just going to be a repeating pattern where we now again chain 2. Those we tighten with a single chain in the following arch. We chain 2 more, and then we make another 4 double crochets in the following. So that was 1, 2, 3, and 4 more double crochets. So basically what I'm going to do for the rest of the round until I reach the end here at the stitch marker is to repeat this pattern that I've just shown you. So now this round is almost complete. As you can see that I'm now having changed 2 and I need to join it with the first part of the round. So to join it, I'll first remove my stitch marker. And what I need to do to join this is to slip stitch it into the top of the first 3 chains of the last round. So we slip stitch it here to join. Again, what I did last round, I will here add a stitch marker to help me remember where the round starts and finishes. So the following round, we now need to make a new group of 4 chains. So basically this is going to be a round of a lot of 4 chains and single chains. So we start by chaining 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these 4 we will single crochet into the first gap here, where the 2 single chains goes over. So into this gap we'll single chain to tighten those 4 in. Then we do another 4, 2, 3, 4 chains, and those 4 we will tighten with a single crochet in the following gap here. So then we change another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, which we then, you might have guessed it already, single chain into the following gap here. So like this, we do another 4 chains, 2, 3, 4, which we then enter to the following gap, where we single crochet it in place, do another 4 chains, 3, 4, insert it in the following, and this is just simply rinse and repeat until the whole round is complete. Again, this was almost a complete round, and I'm just missing to tying up the last 4 single chains, which I again will tying up with slip stitch. The slip stitch I need to place exactly here in the old slip stitch where my current stitch marker is. So I'm going to remove the stitch marker like this, and then I'm going to insert my hook, this, so that I can slip stitch it on its position. Again, for own convenience, I will insert my stitch marker so I remember where the round is and I'm ready for the following round. So the following round we need to start by chaining 5, because what we need to do is now to create the cross you have here, but here on top. So we start by chaining 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first 3 will function as a double crochet at the end of this round, and the 2 is the classic 2 down, which we know from the previous. So I'll insert here and I fasten these 5 with a single crochet. Then I crochet 2 chains, 1, 2, and then it's time to make 4 double crochets into this space. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So basically what we need to do now is to start repeating the pattern. So we chain 2, 1, 2, fasten it in the space with a single crochet, then we chain another 2, 1, 2, and make 4 double crochets in the following space here. So 1, 2, so that's 1, sorry. 2, 3 almost. Need to watch this for not splitting. And this would be the last of the 4 double crochets. And you kind of get the gist here. So basically I will just have to make another 2 single crochets, two single chains, fasten it with a single crochet, chain 2, 4 double crochets, etc. until the round is complete. At the end here, we only need to do 3 double crochets in the very last one, because these chain 5, the bottom 3 counts as one of the doubles. So I will meet you at the end of this round again. Now I'm almost at the end of the 4th round. So as I mentioned earlier, in this space, I only need to make 3 double crochets. And the reason for that is because at the start of the round, we made 5 single chains, where the first 3 of those 5 count as a double crochet. So that was 3. Need to join this round with a slip stitch in the 3rd chains from top here. So 1, 2, 3 in this chain. I need to join with a slip stitch. And as all the previous rounds, personally I prefer the stitch marker, so I insert it again here, and it's simply just for easy keeping track. So sorry. So now we are back. So now we are actually almost complete with the pattern. We just need one more round of the 4 chains. So we start by chaining 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And those 4 we fasten here in this 2nd loop after with a single crochet. We chain another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, which we then fasten with another single crochet in the following space. And this is just basically repeating itself until the round is complete. So 4 chains, which we single crochet into the next space. And this keeps going on. 3, 4 chains, and single crochet. So I will continue doing this until I've completed the 5th round. So I completed the round and I already slip stitched the last 4 chain into the beginning point. So this is basically the complete pattern of 4 rows. And this is a repeating pattern now until you reach the 50 centimeters, which is the length of the arm. Again, this is where you need to kind of measure and have a little bit in mind the actual distance, and you need to make sure that you will make on each side of the back piece the same amount of rounds so that the arms are equally long. So a repeating pattern is about 3 centimeters high, and I need to have 50 centimeters of length. So that will estimate roughly 16 to 17 repeats in total of these 14 rounds. So I will probably start by repeating 15, 16, and then I will measure the work to see how much further I need to repeat this pattern. So basically, again, to start repeating at the first round, so from round 2, 3, 4, and 5, needs to be repeated now to continue the pattern. So you chain 3, make 3 double crochets, chain 2, fasten, chain 2, 4 double crochets, etc. Then you make a round of 4 single chain where you fasten them in each of the spaces. And then you chain 5, fasten it, chain 2, make 4 double crochets, chain 2, etc. Where at the end of that last round, you at the last spot only do 3 double crochets and slip stitch it into the top of the top third loop and use those 3 as your double crochet. So yeah, basically now it's a rinse and repeat, and I will meet you back again when this sleeve is about 50 centimeters long. I've now completed the pattern and completed so many rounds that this full sleeve is now 50 centimeters long. I'm going to fold it a little bit so it's going to be easier for me to work with due to its length as it's growing. And to start now, prepare for making the following. Basically to start opening for the back piece, so basically making gaps in the arms to open for the shoulders, we need to start the next round like we normally have started all the other rounds. So as you can see in this pattern, it's time to make 3 chains and then 3 double crochets into this first arch. So let's start by chaining 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then we make the 3 double crochets here in this arc. So that was 1, oh, that's split. 2, 3. So we need to do what we did before, chain another 2, tighten it, the single crochet, etc. as we go around. What we need to do is this time we need to stop here in this arch and not in the last one. Just before we get to the end of this round, we will have to stop here. So here we will make, as you can see for the pattern, it's where we need to make 4 double crochets. And when we have made these 4 double crochets, I will meet you again. We now stopped at this last spot just before the round is complete. And now to create this opening, we actually turn around the work. So we turn it around. So I'll do like this. And then we chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these 4 we fasten in the gap like we remember and have done with the previous many chain 4 rows. So we chain another 4, 2, 3, 4, which is then tightened in the next gap, or connected in the next gap with a single crochet, chain another 4, 2, 3, 4, and that goes into the next following gap, and so on. And we'll continue with this until this row is completed. As you can see, I have now almost completed the round which started here, the previous round that is. So these single 4 chains I'm going to tighten into that double crochet loop. And now it's time to turn the work again. So we'll turn it so that we are ready to go the other way around. And to start on the following row, we will have to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and these 5 we tighten with a single crochet in the loop, just like that. Then we chain 2, 1, 2, and we make 4 double crochets in the following arch. So basically, just like this, the pattern proceeds while we are now slowly creating the opening and the fabric that will go across the back and the shoulders. So now I'm going to complete this round and then I will meet you again. Now we have almost completed this round and we need to tighten or fasten the last 2 single chains with a slip stitch here at the bottom of the start of the previous round. Oh, slip stitch if it wants to. So now it's time to turn the work again, and as you can see, the gap here slowly increases to make room for the shoulders, back and arm. So we first turn the work so we can continue working. And to start this round, we will chain 4, because this is again the round where we make all the 4 chains, which we tighten into or fasten into the space. Chain 4, 3, 4, which then gets tightened into fastened into the next space, again with a single crochet, and so on. And basically, to complete this pattern, we just need to go back and forth, repeating what we have just done until the length from where it opens here has reached 50 centimeters, as we defined in the beginning of this video. The back piece has now reached a length of the 50 centimeters that we defined in the beginning of this tutorial, based on the measurements received. And just to show it, we are going to measure the piece here. Actually, it's a little bit longer because it's just 51.5, but this is due to the fact that we need to end with here, as you can see, the 4 double crochets at this piece, because we want to make sure it's identical with this end where we have the 4 double crochets before we split up the Bolero. So when we're going to join this end, it's again, we want to have the 4 double crochets laying here on the top to make it symmetrical. And therefore, we must end on the double crochets here at the end and not the cross pattern, because this garment was just at the shorter end when I was at the previous point. I decided to add a bit extra because it's always better in any case that it's then a centimeter longer than a centimeter too short, so that you know that you actually do have room to move your shoulders around when you're wearing it. Okay, so to close this piece, we need to enter this row of the 4 chain stitches. So we start by chaining 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this we join with a single crochet here in this post between, and now our piece of garment is rejoined. We keep finishing this round of the 4 chains, which we fasten to the garment with a single crochet. So we will complete the round of 4 chains, and those 4 chains we will fasten in each gap, as we have known from all the previous repeats. Once this is done, I will meet you again. Now I've completed the round of 4 chains single crochet, 4 chains single crochet, and now it's time to add the first row where we do the 4 double crochets, 2 chains, single crochet, 2 chains, 4 double crochets, etc. And like all the previous rounds, when we start a new round, how to start is by chaining 3, because this chain of 3 will replace a double crochet. 3, and then because it replaces a double crochet, we only need to make 3 double crochets in the beginning here of this round. So that's what we're doing. So 1, 2, and 3. Then we chain the 2 for the repeating pattern here. Make a single crochet where we fasten it. Then we chain 2 again. And then we make 4 double crochets in the following loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. We go back to chaining 2, fasten it with a single crochet, chaining 2, 4 double crochets, etc. Just like you know from all the previous rounds. Basically, to make sure that this is identical with the other round, I also counted the amount of repeatings of the patterns I need to make. So 4 rows goes to a repeat pattern, and I need to make 16 repeats. So basically I need to make 4 multiplied by 16 rows to finish this piece. So I'm going to continue working and work up the 16 repeats, and I will meet you back again. So I've almost finished the 16 repeats. I'm only missing the last chain of 4, so I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, which I'm gonna tighten to the work with a slip stitch. In fact, because this was the very last round, I'm actually gonna cut the yarn and I give it extra room, so I have plenty of space to fasten it. So basically what I'm doing now is I'm gonna pull this end through, and now I just need to weave in this end and our work is complete. As easy as it could be for everyone to do.